بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وبعد. So inshallah, this is lesson number 3, and inshallah today we're going to be focused on the word dakhala. All right, dakhala, which means to enter, So there's going to be dakhala, yadkhulu. The masdar is going to be dukhulan, and the ism fa'al will be dakhilun. So dakhala yadkhulu dukhulan dakhilun. Alright, and inshallah we're going to go over the sentences so that way we can get sentences with each one, inshallah. Alright, so we'll start off again with the fi'l madin. Alright, which is going to be, alright, so dakhala. So we're going to say, this one I'm going to change it up a bit. So I'm going to say dakhaltu al-bayta qabla ikhwani. Alright, so dakhaltu al-bayta qabla ikhwani. So I entered the house qabla, before ikhwani, before my siblings. Because ikhwan is the plural form of the asl of it is the plural form of akhun. Akhun, which means brother. But ikhwan, because it yashmal al-dhukur wal-inath, al-banin wal-banat. Alright, so it comprises both the boys and the girls, all the siblings. So you say, and I entered the house before ikhwani. So the asl of it is akhun, and then it becomes what? Ikhwanun. But now, this obviously is without possession. Ikhwanun, brothers, general, right? But if I wanted to show possession, this is where I put the ya on it. So I say ikhwani, because this way now it becomes my brothers. Just like if you were to say like kitab hada, you would say what? Hada kitabun. Alright, hada kitabun. Alright, this is a book. But now I want to specify what? Hada kitabi. Alright, this is my book. Alright, hada kitabi, hada kitabuk. This is your book. Hadihi kutubuna. These are our books. To show like what? The possession. And the word bait, I'm going to have to erase some of this so we can focus on the word bait here. Alright, because interesting word. I'm going to keep the word bait up, because that's what we're focusing on right now, right? Let me get rid of that. So the word bait in the Arabic language, it comes from the verb bata yabitu. Alright, yabitu. Alright, baytutatan if you want the mustard, but I don't think most people don't use the mustard. So bata yabitu. Alright, bata yabitu, like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He said in Surah Al-Furqan, وَالَّذِينَ يَبِيتُونَ لِرَبِّهِمْ سُجَّدًا وَقِيَامًا. وَالَّذِينَ, and those يَبِيتُون, that they spend their night لِرَبِّهِمْ, for their Lord, سُجَّدًا وَقِيَامًا, in a state of prostration and a state of standing. Like basically, they spend their nights praying to their Lord. And this is the characteristics of Ibadur Rahman in Surah Al-Furqan, at the end of Surah Al-Furqan, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was talking about the characteristics of the servants of the merciful one. These are the servants who are deserving of the mercy of Allah. So وَالَّذِينَ يَبِيتُونَ لِرَبِّهِمْ سُجَّدًا وَقِيَامًا. So they spend their nights in prayer, because that's what bata yabitu means. It means to spend the night. So when you say bata yabitu, a baytun is a place where you spend the night. So if you're using the word bait for the daytime, it's actually not correct in the Arabic language. You can't say hada bayti and it's like, noontime. But this is the way that the Arabs speak nowadays. And you also have the word mabit. Alright, mabitun, which came in the hadith where the Prophet ﷺ was speaking about the shaitan. He said, if the person enters into his house, we'll call it bismillah. And the dukhul, فقال الشيطان لا مبيت لكم اليوم لا مبيت لكم الليلة, sorry. So he said the person enters into his house and he says Bismillah. If he enters into his house and says Bismillah, then the shaitan says La mabita lakum alayla, that you have no place to stay for the night because he said Bismillah when he entered the house. So Shaitan has he can't enter into the house because of that. So la mabita lakum. So here in this hadith, the Prophet ﷺ used the word mabit. Alright, mabit and bait, it means wherever you spend the night. Obviously, bait is a place that you spend the night on a regular basis, and that's why we use it to mean house. So bata yabitu. Alright, enough of that tirade of bata yabitu. Now we're going to get back to this. We're going to go to the mudari, but we're also going to, in this example, inshallah, we're going to do the mudari with the masdar together, inshallah. Alright, because it's a lot easier to kill two birds with one stone, right? So, يدخل الطلاب الفصل. Alright, الفصل قبل دخول المدرس. Alright, so يدخل الطلاب الفصل قبل دخول المدرس. المدرس, as ugly as that is, that's supposed to be a shadda. Alright, so the students enter, and also the word طلاب, it comes from the word طالب, which is the plural form of the word طالب, which comes from the verb طلب يطلب. طلب, it means to seek something, to seek, and obviously طلاب because they're seeking knowledge. They're seeking out knowledge. So that's why you say طالب العلم. طالب, it means a person who seeks something, like seeking to find something. So this is why they are called طلاب. Al-fasla is called a classroom because of what? Because of the verb fasala yafsulu. Fasala yafsulu, it means to separate, to take something and to take a bunch of things that are gathered together and then to separate them from each other. So fasala bayna shay'aini. So you can say, like, for example, to separate between two things or more. Alright, and of course this is called al-fasl, and the plural form of the word fasl is fusul, al-fusul, classrooms. So they're called a classroom because they're like what? يفصل بعض الطلاب عن بعض. Because each group of students, they're going to be separated from each other in these rooms. So that's why it's called al-fasl. Alright, so يدخل الطلاب الفصل قبل. قبل obviously means before. دخول is the masdar. So it means the entering of the mudarris. Al-mudarris, it means a teacher. And it comes from the, I'm about to erase this now so I can focus on this word mudarris, because we're going to try to go and knock out a lot all at once, inshallah. Try to get the people with more. The people that can handle more, I'm going to give you more. The people that can handle less, focus on the main lesson, inshallah. So the word darasa, yadrusu. Alright, we use it now to mean what? We use it now to mean study, to study something. The actual word, the meaning of the word darasa in the Arabic language, it means to become like less and less and less until it is finished. So you can use it for like the stitching of a garment. Like if the stitching of a garment starts to come out little by little until the garment eventually just falls apart. Obviously, this is not an issue that we have in the West because we have so many pairs of clothing, so much clothing that we never wear something until it completely falls apart. But back in the days, because they didn't have the money to buy a bunch of clothing, it wasn't available in markets like we have now. So, they used to actually have to wear one garment over and over and over every day, basically. And they'd wear it until it just, the stitching just completely came out. So you say, like, for example, darasa washyu ath-thob. Like the stitching of the garment, it just became less and less, and then eventually the garment it falls apart, or you have to go back and restitch it. You could also use the word darasa, like darasa al-ilmu. Darasa al-ilmu, it means that knowledge, like for example, fi akhir az-zaman yadrusu al-ilm. In the last days, that the knowledge becomes less and less and less until it's almost completely disappearing. And obviously this comes about because of the maut al-ulama, because of the death of the scholars, as we see, because with each death of each scholar, the knowledge, he takes a lot of knowledge with him. And because we're not replacing these scholars like they did in the past, so, Allah musta'an. This is what's happening now. وَنَحْنُ فِي هَذَا الزَّمَانِ أَنْ يَدْرُسُوا فِيهِ الْعِلْمِ. That the knowledge becomes less and less. So the same thing with darasa, but it's the opposite way, because darasa, when you're learning, you're taking things little by little, and you're actually collecting them, and it's becoming more and not becoming less. So it's actually the opposite meaning of the original meaning of darasa. Now the word mudarris, it comes from the verb form darasa. Now here you're going to get a little bit of a lesson in sarf. So I'm going to bring up the eraser again, because this is a little by little I'm going to introduce this, so this way you can understand it. It might be difficult in the beginning, but over time, inshallah, you start to get it. So basically, whenever the Arabs, they're talking about the patterns of the verbs, they use the word fa'ala. Fa'ala, because fa'ala, it means to do an action, right? And because it's a fi'l, it's an action, so they use this to show the pattern. So like, for example, you have fa'ala, which is like what? Darasa. Darasa. So it follows the same pattern. So the dal will be the fa, the ra is the ain, and the sin is the lam. So whenever you hear somebody say fa'ul kalima, or ainul kalima, or lamul kalima, this is what they're talking about. Fa'ala. And of course you have, like, for example, you have fa'ila, fa'ula. All right, and you have different ones. So like what we're focused on right now is obviously fa'ala. So fa'ala, yaf'alu, yaf'ilu, yaf'ulu, and it changes. So like, for example, we say, like, for example, yaf'ulu, which is like what? Yakhruju or yadkhulu. So it follows that pattern. All right, and you have yaf'ilu, yaf'ilu, yadribu, yadribu. So you see it follows the same pattern. And this is what we use this for, is to show the pattern. Now, the word darrasa, because I talked about darrasa, yudarrisu. Alright, so it follows a pattern of what? This is a different pattern, because this is on what? Fa'ala. Fa'ala, yufa'ilu. Yufa'ilu. And the masdar will be what? Taf'ilan. This follows a set pattern, not like the other, not like what you see with darasa, yadrusu, durusan, and then you have dhahaba, yadhabu, dhahaban. You notice there's a change. Daraba, yadribu, daraban. But here you're going to see fa'ala, yufa'ilu, taf'ila. So you're going to say what? Darrasa, darrasa, yudarrisu, yudarrisu, and you're going to say what? Tadrisan, tadrisan. Jallasa, yujallisu, tajlisa. Kharraja, yukharriju, takhrija. All of them will follow the same pattern. The ism maf'ul will be what? Will be what? Mufa'il. Mufa'ilun. So you say what? Mudarrisun. Mufa'ilun, mudarrisun, mukharrijun, mujallisun. All of these, you'll see that they follow the same pattern, but this is outside of the first pattern, because the first pattern that we're going through, obviously, we're dealing with right now. We're dealing with what? Fa'ala. So fa'ala, the first three, you have fa'ala, and it could be you could follow what? For fa'ala, you could have what? Yaf'alu, yaf'ulu, yaf'ilu. See the difficulty now? So it's all about memorization. It's all about memorization. That's why I said, you see, daraba, yadribu, jalasa, yajlisu, dakhala, yadkhulu, dhahaba, yadhabu. You notice there's a difference. The pad, when it goes to the mudari, is different every time, even though it starts from the same asl. The same asl of fa'ala, dhahaba, daraba, jalasa, kharaja, but they differ when it goes into the mudari. This is something that you just have to memorize in the beginning. Once you get to the later stages, inshallah, and we're going to do this little by little, and, especially with because the most important science that you need in the beginning is a sarf. Because sarf, it shows you how it changes from the madi to the mudari to the ism fa'il to the ism maf'ul, how the word changes to the masdar, and in this way that you get so much vocabulary just from that one word, just from the one word. Look how much vocabulary we're able to extract from each word. And then once you learn this and you get this down, and once you get the different patterns down, because you got kharaja, but kharaja, from amongst kharaja, you also have what? You have kharraja, which means to take something out. You have takharraja, which means to graduate, like for example, to graduate school, like takharraja Ahmedu min al-jami'ah. So Ahmed graduated from the university. And then you have also istakhraja, which means to extract something from something. So you have a lot, once you're able to get these words and to understand these patterns, it increases your vocabulary tenfold. And that way you're able to start to read the books, and because every verb in the Arabic language, well, not every, because we have a ruba'iyah, you have 4-letter verbs and you have 5-letter verbs, but the asl of the verb is the 3 letters. So so you can notice these 3 letters in anything that you do. And like I said, this is something that we're going to go over later. But the asl of every single word, you'll see it. So like, for example, let's look at this word, istakhraja. This is the one I told you. It means to extract something from something. So istakhraja. You see the word kharaja. The asl of it is here. All of these 3 letters right here are what? Ziyadat. This is the extra part, but the actual word is kharaja, istakhraja. All right, the same thing if you say what? Ta'allama. You see what? Alima. All right, you see the asl of it, which is ilm. All right, the extra lam and the ta, all of this is ziyada. All right, this is ziyada ala al-asl. So you have to be able to recognize the origin. And once you can see the origin of the word, like you might not know what istakhraja means, but you know what kharaja means. So what does istakhraja? It means to extract, to take something out. Because once you understand that istaf'ala is like talab shay, talab khuruj shay. So you're seeking the exiting of something. So how do you seek the exit? By extracting it. So you start to make these connections, and this is the way that you start to understand the vocabulary better. But this comes with time, inshallah. So don't get if you don't understand what I'm saying like right now, then don't get upset and don't get distraught over time. Because even when I was learning it took months, but it clicked. And once it clicked, it was over. That was it. Then I just started driving at 120 miles per hour once it clicked. Before I was like in neutral, just sitting there just trying to get from point A to point B as careful and slowly as possible. But once this clicked in my mind, that was it. Then I just took off. And then I started getting more and more vocabulary, and I was able to pick up books and read through the books, and it became a lot easier. The language and it became a lot more fun. Because now I can start to understand more. And inshallah, over time, you'll have the same experience, inshallah. All right, so with that, we're going to conclude this lesson. وَإِلَى هُنَا سُبْحَانَكَ اللَّهُمَّ وَبِحَمْدِكَ أَشْهَدُ أَن لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا أَنْتَ أَسْتَغْفِرُكَ وَأَتُوبُ إِلَيْكَ.